The year of Mets drama continues as today we have another member of the Mets front office doing something they were not supposed to. This time it is Zack Scott who is facing DWI charges. So in this video we're going to talk about Zack Scott, the DWI charges, the history of the Mets this year with all the front office problems that they've had, all the stories that have been leaked about the Mets and who they hire. And just talk about the front office in general, because is Zack Scott going to be the guy taking over after Sandy Alderson long term? It doesn't look that way right now. If you enjoyed this video talking about a big Mets news story, make sure to leave a like, comment down below. What are your thoughts on Zack Scott charges, on Zack Scott, on the front office, and just on the Mets as a whole? Because there's a lot of different layers to this, because this is not a one-time thing. This is not the first time where somebody in the Mets organization got caught something they weren't supposed to be doing. This is the first scandal we've seen this year. This is too many scandals that we've seen this year from this team. And if you're mad at Zack Scott, don't dislike the video. Because Javi Baez did something bad, why are you disliking my video and taking it out on me? I'm not Javi Baez. I'm not Zack Scott. I'm just being frank about a sports story. That's what the channel is all about. So let's get into it. There have been some people talking about, oh, Steve Cohen had this charity event late Monday night. There were a bunch of people at his house. Zack Scott was one of those in attendance. But by all accounts, it seems that that event ended 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m., something like that. Now, the Zack Scott charges came from 4:17 in the morning, or close to 4 in the morning. So that is nearly 7 to 8 hours after the Steve Cohen event. John Hayden said that people at the event said that Zack Scott seemed sober. So it looks like it happened after the event was over. So now the question becomes, what did Zack Scott do in between when Steve Cohen's event ended and when he got charged? Whatever he was doing, it was something he should have not been doing, and it is a very bad look for the organization. This is the same guy that last month called out the Mets players for, not taking good care of themselves, about being held accountable. And now look what Zack Scott did. I mean, this is a grown man. This is supposed to be a responsible adult. Stuff like this cannot happen. Uber exists for a reason. Lyft exists. All these taxi services, especially in New York. This cannot happen under any circumstances. This is just another bad look for Sandy Alderson, because a lot of the people he hires, they end up having to leave the organization for something not having to do with baseball. Whether it's Mickey Callaway or Jared Porter, or probably in this case Zack Scott, and all the other stories that we've heard just about the organization in general, whether it's other coaches, other people that work for the team, if they're in the front office or whatever, just the way that the Mets have gone about the background check, the vetting process, they are not doing a good job. And now it's not like Zack Scott had a history of a bunch of DWIs, but still, it's just like you would feel that you hired a guy that you believed, after talking to him, this guy is responsible, this is a guy that we want to be a part of our organization. And it feels like the Mets have just had so many mishaps, whether it is the front office or just other areas, that Steve Cohen has got to take command. I imagine Zack Scott will not be staying with the team, because again, it's just a bad representation for the organization. If a player gets called a DWI, obviously it's dumb, obviously you shouldn't do it. But when it's the general manager, I mean, like, that's the boss. Like, you hold them to a much higher standard than you would a player. You wouldn't think that this would happen with a general manager. So I think that to have this organization not have a bad look, I imagine Steve Cohen will get rid of Zack Scott. And I think that just with all the problems that the Mets have had, I feel like Sandy Alderson has to go just to completely do a full reset on this organization. They have just had so many issues, it feels like they have to start from scratch and just get a bunch of new people and go from there. Because you don't want to keep having these stories linger and just have more and more and more come out about all these different people doing a bunch of crazy things. Now, as for who's going to take over for Zack Scott, or maybe even Sandy Alderson, because we know even if Sandy does stay, it's not going to be for much longer. Another year or two at max, I would imagine. A lot of Met fans are saying, get the Epstein, get the Epstein, and I agree, but that's a lot easier said than done. Mets have had a lot of problems this year, whether it is just these stories or what happened with the whole Baez-Lindor situation, just the way New York fans are. The Mets aren't exactly an attractable destination at this very point in time. And does Theo Epstein even want to work under Steve Cohen? Does he want to work under somebody, or does he want to have a bigger role? When Epstein first stepped away, some people said that he kind of wants to get involved in ownership, so this would not qualify as ownership. You could hope that Epstein's going to be the automatic fix, and yes, that would be great, but I don't think that's likely. It's going to be up to the Mets to do this whole GM search all over again, which is very tough to do, because the guys that you want, whether it be somebody from Tampa Bay's organization or Milwaukee or Oakland or somewhere like that, you always have to get access. And last year when the Mets were doing this search, they kept getting denied access for the people that they were allowed to interview. Regardless of who the Mets do decide to hire, I do want them to take their time with this and make sure that they get the right guy, someone that they know could stay, people that don't trade away Pete Crow Armstrong, and they utilize Steve Cohen's wallet to their best advantage in actually turn the Mets into a winning team. And you hope that that person would then find the right manager to make sure that the Mets become a winning team, because obviously Luis Rojas is not the guy. The to-do list for the Mets continues to pile up, and they have a lot of things to do in this offseason if they do want to become competitive, and Steve Cohen does want to win that World Series title in 3 to 5 years. Now, another way that the Mets look bad in this whole scenario is their statement involving Zack Scott. I'll put it up right here, but it says, "We were surprised and deeply disappointed to learn this morning about an alleged DUI involving Zack Scott. We will take this matter very seriously. Zack will not be traveling with the team for our upcoming road trip while we learn more and determine next steps." Now, something that a few people have pointed out is the fact that the Mets statement involving the whole thumbs down scenario was much more harsh and significant than the statement for this. The thumbs down is not as bad as a thing as drunk driving. So I think that is just a very, again, bad look for the Mets. It's strange that that is the way they handle this. They tell, what Baez and Lindor did was unacceptable, but Zack Scott, we'll see the details, we'll see what happens. If you are in a car and a cop pulls you over, you identify as Zack Scott, they find that you are intoxicated, that's it. There's no more details to learn. There's no other way around this. So once again, you're just very disappointed with how the Mets handle these scenarios, and it's just very exhausting. I am tired of this. I am tired of every time the Mets hire somebody, there's something going on with them, and there's a story that comes out, and it's like, oh, LOL Mets again. Just when the Mets get a little bit of winning streak, they win a great doubleheader from the Marlins. Big comeback win. They kind of got rid of that whole thumbs down saga, and now it's just like a new saga right on top of it. It just never ends with this team. But that's why we're Mets fans, because we must love the misery. Because why else would we be fans? Because it's not like there's a bunch of good stuff happening. It's always bad stuff, but yet we still stick with this team. Really crazy. But again, let me know what you guys think about this whole scenario. Mets Weekly tomorrow on Mets Talk with Hayden's channel. We will be starting at 6 o'clock to talk about thumbs down, talk about Zack Scott, talk about all the other things going on with the team. Stay safe with this hurricane tropical storm thing going on. Have a good one, everyone. Be smarter than the Mets. Let's go Mets. Stop having a lot of drama, please.